out. You're the only one inside.
That's good, y'all. Coming in a little bit early.
My brothers are feeling alright. No, this night is gonna turn out fine. So come here, baby.
Camera issues, and I'll be right back. I think that did it. Alright, now we'll get going here. That's my boy's brother's gal out of San Diego. Unfortunately, no longer playing, but Kyle's still playing music, and I'm pretty sure Alex is, and I know Nate is as well. Very talented individuals and good friends of the show, friends of mine, guys that I miss very much. I miss seeing them play music, so shout out, fellas. Excuse me, goddamn, hope I don't have the unicorn. No, anyway, we've had a lot of crazy shit go on here in the last few days. I just want to touch on a couple things. I mean, I've brought up the whole Whoopi Goldberg thing recently about, you know, like what makes her an expert on anything and this and that and the other. And I think now she's gotten a taste of the whole cancel culture, having been removed from The View for 2 weeks. I don't advocate that. I don't advocate removing somebody, period. I don't think that that's I don't think that's a legitimate thing to do. I don't like it. Not at all. It's cancel culture, and I don't agree with that one single bit. I mean, if somebody has something to say that is disagreeable to somebody, I think she made an honest mistake. And I'm going to stand up on the side, or on her side at this point in time, because I don't think there was a malicious intent, even though it did come off, what she had to say, it did come off to a lot of people as hurtful, and it probably it wasn't the right thing to say. But here's the thing: is like we should all have the right to say what we're going to say, and if we make a mistake with what we say, then we should also have the right and the opportunity to make it correct. To come out and say, which she did. She came out, she apologized. She made a apology that everybody saw. And hey, I don't wish anybody any ill will. Sometimes has her commentary upset me personally, certainly, and I've always said so when it does. You know, I mean, and that's our right. That's the thing that we've gotten away from. Is the ability to just to speak, and then if what you say is wrong and somebody disagrees, then we need to look at our mistakes as opportunities to learn and grow. And that's kind of always where I've come from with anything, because we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to screw up. We all might have views on things that maybe we never looked at it from another angle, right? We all live in these bubbles that we exist. We exist in these little spaces, and we go down these routes and we do our thing. And sometimes we don't, you can't think of everything. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, is you can't think of it all. You just can't. It's not going to work out like that. I mean, we all have basically a skewed, and not to use the, I might be doing a little, plagiarism there. Our views are skewed. They honestly are. All of ours are skewed because our views are with our trajectory, which, is where we're going. And we're all going in different directions. We're all going different places. And I think that's part of the wonderful thing about, the social media thing, and because we're able to actually examine the world through somebody else's point of view, somebody else's, we can walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, per se. And that could be good or it could be bad, but when we decide that we're just going to discount everybody's, if it doesn't fit within this certain narrative, then you're going to get canceled. I think that's bullshit. And I don't watch The View. I don't frequent. I don't even think I've watched, but maybe Tim Dillon do his Meghan McCain. And if you guys haven't seen that, you should check it out. I should actually look that up. See, I don't know. I don't know if I get in trouble for playing it on here. I might, but I might put it on here just because if you haven't checked out Tim Dillon is the shit. I mean, this dude, he's absolutely hilarious. And if you haven't seen him, then you definitely need to check the guy out. But he does this Meghan McCain that is just, I don't know. Maybe I'll get in trouble for doing this, but I'm going to do it anyways. Oh, and Tim Dillon does fake business too. I keep meaning to get on there, and Tim, I will get on there and order one of your either a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or whatever you have about fake business, because Tim does what they call fake business, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious. Oh, something's beeping at me. Must have been my phone. Oh yeah, that good old thing. But he does fake business, and so he gets on and he calls. He looks up real estate listings, and then he calls realtors and inquires about commercial real estate. Says the whole thing. I've got investors and this and that and the other thing. Let's turn this stupid phone off. I'm gonna skip it across the lake. I know I say that every day. There we go. That thing's off. Anyway, he does this Meghan McCain. That's just, this shit is hilarious. And I'm going to put it on,
Before my because the only person I'll...
Let's see if we can, let me get it back to the start and then we'll pull it up. Get it cued. God, I love technology. Isn't it great? I'm going to watch this. Bada bing, bada boom. And there we go. Okay, so here's Tim Dillon, right? And he's playing the role of Meghan McCain. And he does two of these, but this is just absolutely fucking hysterical. So,
my
without
father
further ado,
died, I had a baby with him. And it will be raised in captivity. It'll be raised privately to be the greatest politician that has ever lived. My name is Meghan McCain, and I'm on a news show called The View. And Donald Trump, that fucking riverboat casino captain, is talking shit about my father again. My father was tortured for 100 years for this fucking country, and he came back and he started 7 wars because he's a gentleman. Fuck you, Trump. I'm gonna wear my father's skin mask, and I'm gonna primary Trump from the right. Come on The View, bitch. If you're that tough, come on The View. You want it, Alessandria Ocasio-Cortez? You want this shit? You want to fuck these tits, Trump? You want to fuck these tits? No, you don't. You want to suck cock. But I won't fuck you because the only person I'll fuck is Daddy. I'll fuck his corpse. I'll fuck Daddy's corpse.
So there we go. There's one of them. And I mean, that's absolutely hysterical.
A friend of mine was having an anniversary with his wife. He's like, I'm just going to pick up some ice cream and head home. That's fine.
It does a whole thing about Briars. I'm going to see if I can find the other Meghan McCain. I mean, apparently him and Meghan McCain aren't the best of friends anymore because of all that. But, what do you expect? I mean, come on. I don't think she's got, much. I mean, it doesn't seem like she's got much of a sense of humor. I don't know. I could say I don't know her. But the other ones, I mean, these are absolutely fucking hilarious. We got the original. I'm trying to find the other one here. Yeah, there's a couple of them. One of them may have been taken down. Who knows? You never know. They take down anything. I mean, who knows? I could be taking down at any point in time too. They've did, like I said, it's happened a couple of times. I wish that thing would quit going off. Well, I can't necessarily find the other one. I'm not seeing it anyhow. Huh, interesting. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There it is.
Okay, as the only gal on the panel who held up.
All right, we're going to have to pull this up. Here we go one more time with Tim Dillon. And this is the second Megan McCain that he did. I'm surprised this is even still out there. It's pretty funny. I think. I don't know. Maybe you don't think it's funny. Maybe you watch the video. I don't know. If we can't laugh at each other, then what the hell do we have? I mean, you want to go out and do an impersonation of me? Feel free. I'll laugh about it if it's funny. I mean, you know.
As the only gal on the panel who held up a Boston market this weekend, I'm going to talk a little bit about guns, okay? A lot of people in the media have never shot a gun, and they've certainly never masturbated with one. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Beto O'Rourke, my gun's not for sale, but my pussy is. And the price is P.F. Chang's. My father and his friends used to hunt me in the backyard. I would run around and they'd shoot at me, and my father said if we hit her, the only thing that's going to come out is whipped cream. He was hilarious. The AR-15 is the most popular gun in America, and it's the only thing that's ever made me come. I like guns and I put them in my pussy. You don't tell me what guns I can own or what people I can own. My father was tortured. He'd never deny anyone else's right to kill. The only one who can take my guns away is Daddy. If Joe Biden tries to take my guns, I will fuck him right out of my house. Uncle Joe, respect me. My mother used to say to me, Megan, you should look more like an AR-15, skinny. And now I have 7 personal trainers and 3 of them have killed themselves. I killed Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my God. You know, you really can't just, how do you go wrong with that? I mean, that's absolutely freaking hysterical. Good Lord. Let's get that off there. Anyway, on a more serious note, I'm sorry about that. I was just talking about the cancel culture and everything. And, I thought that was, I don't know, it's kind of it's a funny thing. You're funny. How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Am I a clown? Am I here to amuse you? Fucking Joe Pesci. Anyways, no, that was just a little clip you should check out. So we're going back down to talk about the whole Whoopi thing, right? So she's off for 2 weeks. She made an apology. She made a mistake. She said something. I don't necessarily believe that there was intent. And now I've heard her say some things that are, that I don't agree with. Does that mean she doesn't have the right to say them? No. It's just like I have the right to say whatever I would like to say. And if I'm not inciting violence or inciting somebody to do something horrible or throwing hate out there, then I have every right to say what I want to say. That's the First Amendment, people. This is rudimentary. This is elementary. This is kindergarten shit right here. However, it seems like this country is going away from that. Okay, so we got Whoopi, okay? All right. Then we have Jeff Zucker, okay? He resigns over his relationship with Allison Gullis, which has been going on for some time. And this comes in the wake of Chris Cuomo being fired from CNN over his involvement with what he was doing as far as his brother was concerned and using his influence and his connections to help him out. And so he's got a big suit going against CNN, and he came out and said that he was going to produce evidence of what had been going on with Zucker and Allison Gullis. It's kind of weird that, Gullis, she started off, I believe, as like a public relations analyst, with NBC. And then, she got basically vaulted up to becoming a executive VP at CNN. And they live in the same boutique apartment facility in Manhattan. I believe both of them were divorced in 2017. Don't quote me on that. Sorry, it'll come right back. But they were both divorced in 2017. And they live a lot of people out there have not probably visited Manhattan. I haven't personally. New York City is the one place on the planet that I don't really give a shit about ever going. I really don't want to have anything to do with that city. I know a lot of people do. They all have this romanticized vision of what New York City is. Personally, this is just me. I don't want to go there. I don't care. I do not want to go there. That's just me. That's my, but I do know what the cost of living is. Like Manhattan, I mean, come on. You're talking a lot of fucking money. I mean, you're talking, and so they both happen to live in the same building. I mean, yeah, she's an executive at CNN, and Zucker was running the whole show or whatever for the last 9 years. But he's out of there. He's done. Cuomo's made threats. He came out and he said, I'm resigning because I had this relationship with an individual that I've worked with for 20 years, and I should have disclosed it, and I didn't, and I was wrong. That's the paraphrase, okay? That's not an exact quote. I can pull that up if you want to, or I'm sure everybody's already seen it. So now he's gone, okay? So we got Whoopi, she's gone she's only gone for 2 weeks. And, hopefully, she comes back. I mean, she recognized the evil in it. I mean, and what her statement said was that the Holocaust was not based on race, that it was ethnicity. I hate that thing. But that it was ethnicity. Okay. Now, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know how. I mean, she's like saying basically it's white on white genocide, I guess. Now, Hitler was an Austrian Jew. Let us not forget that. I mean, it kind of, there's a, certainly it was a racial thing. I don't know that she deserved to be, I don't think that she was detracting from the fact that 6 million people were fucking murdered in a genocide. I don't think that's what she was getting at. And I never thought I'd be sitting here maybe trying to justify anything that Whoopi Goldberg ever said, but I find myself kind of sitting here saying, well, she didn't say, I don't believe, if I'm wrong, tell me. But I could understand where that could be taken as anti-Semitic, but I don't believe that she was saying necessarily anything anti-Semitic. I think she made a mistake in the way she looked at it. You're talking about an atrocity that was perpetuated against a people in which the person perpetuating it was actually one of those people. If we're talking about bloodlines and, for anybody who's done like the 23andMe or the Ancestry.com, you know that like myself, when I did mine, I came up to be a lot more, I didn't have any idea that I was Irish. No idea. Never had come up in anything. Am I out there claiming no, I'm not. I'm not there, I haven't grown up that way. I've not grown up knowing anything about, an Irish hereditary background. But I think that Hitler knew where he came from. I don't know. It's a tough one. She made the apology, and I think she should be given the okay to come back and do her thing, whatever. She says things people disagree with, and guess what? That's what it's all about. People do say things. I might be saying something you disagree with right now, but you know what? You got the right to refute it. Free speech means that there's going to be people that are going to say fucked up shit. People are going to say fucked up shit all the time. I do it all the time. Everybody does. We all say things that we don't realize, until we actually, somebody calls us on it and says, hey, dude, what are you talking about, man? What are you saying here, man? This is, and then you go, oh shit, and you step back, you get a little perspective on it, and you go, shit, I was wrong. And then typically, I mean, at least for me, I say thank you. I appreciate it when somebody sets me straight, because literally my intentions are not to go out and come out here and say anything that's screwed up. I don't want to say screwed up things. I want to love everybody. I want everybody to be loved. I want, I want to see some actual real change on this planet. It breaks my heart to see people that are starving, people that are homeless, people living in poverty, people that don't have food for their kids to eat, kids that don't have clothes on their back, people that are living in poverty and just destitute and have no hope. Now, granted, your trajectory in life also has to do with what you choose to do with it, and but there's also people that are, it's when we talk about equity or quality of outcome, and I've spoken about this before, or I should say, equality of opportunity as opposed to equity or what you would call equality of outcome, because your life is what you make it. But if we all had the same starting line, and I don't know how you do that. I mean, that's just an ideal that is probably a poop dream to have anything like that actually be available. Because say we do level the playing field, it's always going to turn out differently, because what you're going to have is people that are going to be lazy, and then you're going to have people that are going to go out and they're going to do this and that and then work. So then what it comes down to there is then we got a monetary deal, because what's success to everybody? Money, right? It's all about that money. Success is not what you necessarily have to offer as a human being. It's like, what do you have to offer monetarily? Now, I know a lot of people that don't have a lot of money, but they have a lot to offer intellectually. I know a lot of musicians that don't have a lot of money that are just phenomenal on whatever they're playing, be it guitar, drums, brass, woodwind instrument, what have you. Even spinning records on being a DJ. I mean, there's value in a lot of things that society doesn't deem to be as valuable. And then we get into the whole money thing, and so and the gap seems to just it keeps going further and further, right? Like this, and I swear to God, if I hear one more pundit out there, one more political analyst, one more person say anything about the Fed printing money, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, because they're not printing money. Okay? And this whole fucking fiasco that's put us upwards of $30 trillion in debt now, a debt, by the way, will never be paid off. That debt's not going to get paid off, because there's not enough money to do it, because the way that the system works, okay? We have a fractional reserve banking system. I've been over this over and over again. Now, I'm in the middle. I just had to type up a bunch of paperwork last night, because I have the same kind of an outfit coming after me. Now, I've paid off my loan, okay? I paid it off. They're still trying to come after me, saying I owe them this, that, and the other thing. And so what I had to do last night was sit down. And fortunately, I do have the wherewithal to print off and write documents such as this. Okay? So I'm fighting them. They don't understand that they're, regardless of my appearance or what you may or may not think of me, I do know what's up. I know the law. I've been through it. I can draw up legal documents. I've taken mock bar exams. And I mean, if I had paid the money to go through law school, there's no doubt in my mind that I could be an attorney. Do I want to be an attorney? Not necessarily, but I can also represent myself. And I've done so in the past. I've represented myself. I mean, I got thrown away with the feds because there's just not really any way you're going to beat them. That system is not set up for you to win. It's just not going to happen. Sorry, I just kicked my tripod there. But what I'm getting at is there was no consideration. And okay, I took out that loan 4 years ago, paid it off within like 2 years. Okay. And there was no consideration in that loan, right? Which basically what that means is that it was what they call a P2P loan. It was peer to peer. This was before that outfit had actually become considered to be a bank. And so what they had done was basically they'd manufactured money from nowhere. There was never a check issued, nothing like that. It was just a wire transfer to my account, and then I agreed to let them take the money out every month to repay the loan. I took the loan out because we had to go on this snowboard trip that year, and things had kind of slowed down in the winter, and we were going over to Grand Targhee, and I needed, a little bit of extra coin. And so I took out the loan, big deal. I paid it off. Now they're coming after me. But they don't understand that who they're going after is an individual who is not going to just roll over and throw them an extra $3,000 like they want, because it's been paid off. It's done. There's no consideration in the loan. That the money was taken from nowhere. That's how the reserve fractional system works, people. If a bank gets $10 billion, right, shot to them from the government, it doesn't come to them in $10 billion, actual dollars. We're not talking about paper currency. I'm talking about, we're looking at it's just a keystroke. That's it. It's a keystroke. And it goes to the bank, okay? So, and I've been over this before, the $10 billion goes to the bank. The bank has to keep 10% of that, right? So now they've got $9 billion that they can loan out. And every time they do that, they loan it out, okay, they put what the loan was, okay, not only the principal, but the interest, right? That goes right back into their ledger. So they're making a ledger saying that they have this credit from this money, which is not even money, it's currency. But it's not even hard currency, it's fiat currency is what it is. So anytime you take out a loan, what you're doing is you're taking 90% of that loan that you take out, right? Say you take out a home loan for a couple $250,000, $300,000. What you're doing, and the reason the bank is pursuing you for that, to take that loan out, is because they're going to take 90% of that they've given you, and then they can go and loan it to the next guy. And really, they honestly hope that you default. They hope that you default. They hope you can't make your payments. They honestly do. Somebody tell me otherwise. Tell me that the banker out there is trying to really do a solid by the community. They're not trying to do a solid by the community. Not at all. They understand that money that you have sitting in there that's not even real, it's also drawing interest, right? So every single, and then they throw the interest on it. That's the best part, is when you take out the loan, not only are you borrowing money that never existed in the first place, that was just manufactured and created out of nowhere, but you're also getting to repay the interest. Now, where's that interest come from? Because the money didn't exist in the first place, and now you're repaying the interest on it. Where's that coming from? It's like duck, duck, fucking goose. Somebody's going to get counted out because the money's not there. 3% of the actual currency that is in our economy is actual paper money. 3%. That means 97% of it is digital. Do you understand what that means? It means that currency, that it's worth nothing. It's only worth something because you think it's worth something. And I wish I had with me, excuse me one moment, this is going to make a little noise. I wish I had with me a book of stamps from prison. Excuse me. Because those were tattered up old nothings. And we would fold them up in a sticky note. I just have index cards around here. But it would basically fold up into, a little tiny little packet. It's worth $5. If you open the thing up, you had 34-cent stamps, 35-cent stamps from years ago. But we believed that that was worth $5. And so it was. And so you could get $5 worth of service, whether it be gambling, getting your clothes washed, getting your clothes ironed, coming back to me and buying sodas and commissary items, what have you. There was a million different hustles guys had in there. And that was also used as a currency to purchase drugs, cigarettes, alcohol. And don't get yourself wrong, in the feds, you can get just whatever you can get on the street, you can get in there. And guess who it comes from? It comes from them dudes in those blue shirts. They get $1,000 for a cell phone. Just a shitty track phone. I'm not talking about iPhones. I'm talking about like a shitty little flip phone. $1,000. Right? They get $500. $500 for one of those little tins of Bugler tobacco. And dudes sit there and they sell it. They roll it up in these little teeny tiny little, cigarettes and sell them for a book of stamps a piece. So $5 a cigarette, not a pack. And they're not even. I mean, I didn't smoke cigarettes in there. I didn't mess with really much of anything in there. Excuse me. Because I found there to be value in, in the gambling and in the store market, and kind of fell into that. But it's a microcosm of what we have out here in the real world. And so what we have are this banking system, right? So, I mean, you can shrink things down, right? And look at actually what it is. And what it is the banks were basically, I mean, like where I was at, I was kind of the bank, and just because I've got books of stamps that people think you can't take a book of stamps out of prison and go do anything with that out here. I can't take that and treat it like a $5 bill out here. But I sure as fuck can in there. And what's the difference? I mean, if that's my environment and that's the currency, because you obviously can't have currency. I mean, if you got caught with a quarter in there, you got in big time trouble. You couldn't have currency in there. So, I mean, we got to look at it like that. And so I'm just sick and tired of hearing people talk about, hearing these talking heads on the news talk about printing money. There's no money being fucking printed. Okay? I don't even think, the way that this typically works is that the government decides, okay, we need this money. So we pass this bill, right? We pass this, $5.9 trillion fucking stimulus package, okay? And as I've said, if you do the math on that and you sit back and you go, where the fuck is the money at? Yeah, good question. It's all on Wall Street. It's in the banks. And they're taking that, and what they're doing is they're flipping it over. But yet when they make that loan to you, that's not coming out. They get the $10 billion, they loan you $9 billion. It doesn't come off their ledger. All of a sudden what goes on the ledger is now you've got the $9 billion plus whatever your interest rate is, and that goes on top of it. And that's the fractional reserve system. So now they've got, $20 billion in change to play with, because with your $9 billion loan, I hesitate to think what the interest on a $9 billion loan would be, but by the time you pay that off, you probably, who knows? You're going to at least throw another 10% on it, I would imagine, over time. So now you're up, the bank's up at 20. And so guess what? Now with the fractional reserve system, if they're at 20 from that, right? Now all they got to hold on to is 2. And now they got 18 to throw out there again. Do you see where this goes? Do you see what happens? You see that this is not a sustainable way of any kind of an economy. But yet we have to keep doing it, because if we don't, then there's no money, right? And we got to have the money. So this is all going to come crashing down. And I think it already has. I just think that what we're doing is we're sitting there we're standing here and we're waiting on the tidal wave to come crash over our heads. And then what are we going to do? I encourage people to barter and trade. Legitimately, I could sit here with one of my index cards and probably write my own currency And if everybody had confidence in that, hey, this is worth something, then, we could start passing it around. That's basically what they've done. And so we're basically enslaved, and you're enslaved to being a wage slave. I mean, we grow up with this concept of you got to work 40 hours a week. You got to go get that college education. And I know I'm just beating a dead horse here, but I honestly want people to start to wake up and understand what the fuck is actually going on here. And the fact that you're not living your life. You're living your life for somebody else. You're living your life to make money for these oligarchs and these people that are just fat, stupid rich. And the fact of the matter is that there's plenty out there for all of us. And it doesn't have to break down into a monetary sense of things. You know what I mean? I mean, and maybe I am talking about socialism, but I think that there's plenty out there. I mean, like I've said, $20 billion ends homelessness. Look at the amount of billionaires that came up through COVID. That number rose exponentially. And I don't have that number in front of me, but I will look it up right now. Give me just one moment and I'll find it. But the amount of billionaires rose like crazy because you have people that are taking advantage of hardships, of crises, right? Like if anybody and I bring this name up, if you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, right? I'm gonna pull him up here on the deal. He's a dude that has realized that, hey, through crisis, he can prosper, and he's borrowed and leveraged enough money that they don't have a problem loaning him money. So he takes others' misfortune and he turns it into profit for himself. Now, is that a smart move? I would say that, hey, if he's obviously gotten away with it, right? I mean, if you got a place that you can fit in and make yourself comfortable, I guess you do so. I don't know what that says about the morality of the scenario, but what morality is there when you're talking about money? When you're talking about finances, it's cutthroat. These people do not care. And they put out their commercials on the radio about, they got their little jingles and they really act like they care about you. They don't give a shit. They don't care. I mean, think about it. You go out and you work. How many people are on direct deposit? You go out, you work your work week, and then the money is just in your bank account. Now, what do you think's happening to that money? Say you make $1,000 a week. Okay, the bank isn't holding on to that grand. They're holding on to a 100 of it. 900 of it is what they can use to throw out in a loan. And then it boom, boom, boom. It goes over and over and over again, people. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I know a lot of you out there understand what I'm saying. I know some of you don't. But this is how this system perpetuates itself. This is why only 3% of the currency that is out there is actually in paper, in real currency. It's not gold backed. It's fiat currency. We went off the gold standard with Nixon. All right. 1971, whatever it was, I believe. And then 1913 was when we, when the 16th Amendment was ratified, and there you got your, all of a sudden now we've got the Federal Reserve and the federal income tax. Boom, boom, boom. So not only does every dollar that you are forced to borrow, because let's face it, this is a credit society. Like, it's very difficult without credit to come up. You can't buy a house without credit. You can't buy a vehicle without credit. Now, some people can, but you got to be pretty smart about it, and you have to understand these things. But the issue is it's not going to sustain itself. And I think we've already hit the precipice, and I think we're on the backside of the wave, and we're just waiting to get washed up. And we've got all these things going on. I see that we took out an ISIS leader in Syria. Supposedly last night he blew up himself and his family, and I guess 13 innocent people were killed in the whole thing. So again, now we've got civilian blood on our hands because we were pressing this guy. And who's to say what the real story is? I mean, it seems to me that when you have a president whose approval rating is lower than any president ever, that perhaps using a situation such as this is a way to, I mean, it's wagging the dog. I mean, supposedly ISIS was eliminated from Syria. I guess in the city of Raqqa, they've pretty much taken everything over, which is unfortunate. Very much so. I mean, I'd feel bad for anybody living under that. I mean, it's. These guys are. They're nuts, and they're not really representative of what Islam is supposed to be. I mean, it would be like Christians who go around and carry their lives within the doctrine of the Old Testament. Is basically what this is. And there are there's crazy ass Christians out there. There's crazy ass everybody out there. It doesn't matter what camp you're from. There's nuts out there. But this one just was like, that was the first thing I wanted to look at when I saw that today was, what was the cost? And it looked like there was 13 civilians that died from this. Was that dude a good dude? I don't think so. But it would be interesting. I think it would be interesting to look at how these guys become quote unquote terrorists. Now, I'm not saying that somebody who's willing to go out and take out innocent people is not a terrorist, but there is a but to it. I mean, if you look at it in the sense of you live your life in I'll just put it in context as saying like myself as a man, right? So I live in one of these Middle East countries, all right? I didn't choose to be born there. This is, I mean, you're born where you're born. You are who you are. I mean, nobody makes that choice. And so, you've got your family and then you come home and a drone strike from the U.S. has taken out your apartment building. Your wife, your kids are dead. And you know who was behind it. I mean, I think that's how terrorism is spawned. It's because we sit here and we put our will because of greed, right? Number one, oil, right? What business do we have in the Middle East? You're talking about nations that have been at war with one another for forever. It's not ever about us, making the world free for democracy. It's not ever about us, this, that. It's about oil. It's about money. It's about profit. It's about leverage. And ultimately, it comes down to power. That's it. I mean, one thing I can say about Trump, at least, like, when he left, we were energy independent. Like, we did not have to rely on OPEC. We didn't have to rely on any of that shit for our energy. There's plenty of it. And there's plenty of it there for us to harness anyways. It's just that the oil lobbyists and, all these different lobbyist groups that basically purchase power through our Congress people, they're the ones controlling things. And so I don't give a shit how many electric cars you build. It's not going to make a difference. And the electric cars that we're building, I mean, all the lithium, I mean, where do you think the lithium was coming from, people? Anybody ever do their homework on that? Look into it? Am I the only one that does any homework around here? Because if you look into it, you'll find out that lithium was coming from Afghanistan, big time. Not only that, but guess what else was coming from there? Oh yeah, the poppy fields. Who was guarding the poppy fields? American military. What was that stuff used for? Big pharma. Now, we have fentanyl coming in. The amount of fentanyl that has been taken off the streets is through the roof. It comes over on some little boat from China, lands on the coast of Mexico, gets cooked up in a cow pasture, gets poured into Tupperware, gets thrown on the backs of the people that are coming across the Rio Grande. And guess where it goes? It goes from Texas to Denver to LA to St. Louis to New York City to Chicago. Guess where it goes from there? It gets dispensed. It gets cut down into even worse things. Okay? They're taking it and they're putting it in every street drug you can think of. Now, why are they doing that? Because there's money in it. It's cheaper. It's easy to do. And it's killing people. And we're sitting here and letting it happen. We're letting all this happen to us. When? You can sit there and you can, I mean, you want to come at me and say, well, you know, I get this all the time. Mike, how come you get so involved in this? How come you like, you know, or so wound up in all these things? It's because this is what determines the fate of our kids. All right. And I mean, ultimately, we are a species that, you know, I mean, you come to a point in life where like your life doesn't matter so much as your children do, and you want to see them have a decent world and not be enslaved. And you don't want some kind of a dystopian Mad Max world where you've got that fucking white-faced guy up there that opens up the valve and dumps water on people for 30 seconds and then cuts it off. And that's kind of where we're at. I mean, that's what these stimulus packages ultimately are, because, and then we have to pay the price. We have to pay, you know, then all of a sudden you're enslaved for that. I mean, everybody who got a stimulus check, right? That's slavery right there, because nothing comes for free. Nothing. I mean, you know, I would encourage you guys to check out thevenusproject.com. Jacques Fresco, he's passed on now, but what a genius man. And I mean, you know, his thoughts and ideas might be, you know, I mean, they might be too idealistic to actually ever work, but they would work, goddammit, if people would wake up. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. I mean, I'm not fully aware of the depth of how bad this is, but I spend my days trying to, you know, to take in as much information as I can. And I just don't fucking understand how we have racism, how we have poverty, how we have homelessness. It doesn't make any sense. How we have all this crime, because there's enough for everyone. There's no reason for one guy to have $300 billion and then to have another dude out there sleeping on the corner somewhere, not knowing where to take a shower, not knowing where his next meal is coming from, not knowing shit. And, you know, we are all, most of us predominantly are one big time medical, you know, crisis away from possibly being in that scenario. We're not talking about people who have necessarily made bad decisions. I, for one, can't afford medical insurance. I can't afford it. There's no fucking way. People say, well, go to the doctor. I can't go to the doctor. I can't go speak with a doctor. I can't even afford to walk in the fucking door. And the majority of the country is that way. And even if you do have insurance, it's bullshit. It's garbage. You've got a fucking $5,000 deductible. I mean, what good is that? It doesn't do you much good. I mean, kid breaks his arm, you know, $4,500. Okay, you still have to pay that, and then you're paying what a month? How much a month? And these fat cats with big pharma, and you know, $600 for a fucking EpiPen? Really? Medications that like one shot, $2,500 a month? My son's mother was on a medication. She got one shot a month, $2,500. $2,500 for one shot to help with her mental illness. That's how we help. That's what we're doing. That's what we're getting behind. And it doesn't matter if you vote Democrat or fucking Republican, because it's still going to be the same fucking thing, because Big Pharma is the ones running it. The banks are running it. It's all about these fat oligarchs getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And for what? I don't know, because they're all going to die. And that's the ultimate thing, you know? And one of my new slogans I think I'm going to put out on the show is dying my best death. And Summer and I talked about that the other day, because I'm so sick of seeing this living my best life shit that people post. I mean, no, you're not. You're born to die. Every breath, every word that comes out of my mouth is putting me one step closer to the grave. Big deal. But I'm not living my best life. I'm dying my best death. Trying to. Some of us are dying our worst deaths. Some days I am too. But, you know, at best, we're dying our best deaths. If we're honest with one another, if we're honest with ourselves, if we actually sit back and think about these things, which not many of us do, because we become so enveloped in this bullshit that we're sold. We become enraptured in this crap that we hear from fucking Mr. Potato Head on CNN and this guy over here and this lady over here and blah, 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 fucking blah. You know, I mean, we talk about, because they're the thing, the thing that Joe Biden doesn't know, the Declaration of Independence, and why that was written as all men are created equal. I don't know why it didn't say all people are created equal. I mean, and I'm not a feminist by any sense of the imagination or anything like that. I mean, I believe in women's rights. I believe that a woman can, do whatever they want. I mean, but there are certainly biological differences. There's anomalies, of course, but for the most part, as men, we are, there's a reason we're wired the way we are. And if you want to change your wiring, I don't care. I don't give two shits. It's your life. You can be, you can be androgynous. You can be, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Are you a decent human being? Are you caring? Do you, that's all it comes down to. I don't give two shits what bathroom you use. Quite honestly, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. Now, when you have situations like what happened in Virginia with that female that was raped and by a boy that was wearing a dress, that's kind of, that's where we've kind of gone askew, I think. And then especially to take that kid and send him to another school, and then he does it again. And then the girl's father gets arrested and drug out of a fucking student or a school board meeting. I would have been pissed too. I mean, I'd say he exercised some restraint by just allowing him to throw him out, because and they tried to cover it up and act like nothing had happened to that girl. I mean, that's some bullshit right there. When things like that happen, we have to do something. We have to, and there's, and it's because they don't want it. Nobody in the school board, nobody wants to admit any kind of wrongdoing. It's just like, this is okay. We're going to transition 7-year-old kids. That's bullshit. I mean, the child doesn't have the wherewithal to make that decision. You can't start giving a child that hasn't even hit puberty, you can't start giving them hormones and shit at 7-8 years old, just because you're a woke parent, or you think you are. That's some bullshit. It's nonsense. I don't give a shit if a kid wants to play with dolls, whatever. Like I've said, I mean, my kid, he liked pink when he was a little boy. People gave me shit about letting him, I don't care. He's a little kid. Pink is a color. Big fucking deal. I'll wear pink. I don't care. I got fucking pink shirts. I don't give a shit. You gonna come at me and say say whatever you want to say to me. Bring it. You know what I mean? Like, we can have a private conversation about it. I got no problem with that. I mean, maybe I'll get myself a pink bandana for the next show. I don't know. It's just, this is a crazy time, and I feel like people need to You need to step outside of your privacy bubble that you're in. We've become complacent. We've become comfortable to the point where we will not recognize injustices and things that are going on around us, because if we speak out against it, we're afraid we're going to lose what we have. It's time to stop being scared of that. If we were to look out for one another and take care of each other, I mean, we could make this world such a better place. I mean, we could eliminate starvation. We could eliminate kids working in mines. We could eliminate blood diamonds. We could eliminate so many things. We could do so much better. So I'm going to encourage everybody. I'm going to prop this up again, but look into the Venus Project. I mean, it's pretty lofty what Jacques Fresco was aiming at, but the type of society that he was talking about, it's an interesting thing to contemplate, because he's talking about, because basically what we have right now is we've got a system of scarcity, right? Because that's what we all want. Everybody wants the money. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants that. So it's a system of scarcity, and then this upper class, they hold all the goods over our head, right? And so they can own us and push us in whatever direction they want to. You can say that it's democracy, but it's not. This is not democracy. I mean, let's take, for instance, if I'm going to say, like, for lunch, right? You can have a ham sandwich or you can have a BLT. There's your choices. And because you get to make the choice between those two things, you think you have free. You think you're free. You think you get a free choice. I mean, okay, yeah, you do have a choice. You can have the BLT or you can have the fucking ham sandwich. What if you don't? What if you eat pork? Okay, then you got to get lettuce and tomato. I mean, that's what we have right now. It's like you're offered up this choice or that choice. It's not choice. And the way that our candidates are propped up, it happens with literally, there's like 5%, excuse me, unicorn. Literally 5% of our society is behind the nominations. And when you actually take it down to the base level, you're talking about 1%. And that's what we keep coming back to, is the 1%. They're the ones making your decisions. Those are the people that prop up your Joe Bidens and your Donald Trumps. And those are the people that prop up your Hillary Clintons and your whatever the fuck. It's not your choice. And to go put that fucking sticker on your fucking shirt lapel saying, I voted, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're voting for the same thing. It doesn't matter. All you're doing is you're separating yourself from the people that live next door or 2 houses down from you because they got a different yard sign than you got or a different sticker on their bumper. What differs you from them? Nothing. I mean, for the most part, you all are trying to just live your life, raise decent children, stay above water. How much stress do we go through as adults? Every day is fucking stress. And why? Because of this. And yet we got people out there that got 300 billion and they can just do whatever the fuck they want. No, your life is what you make it. But they talk about capitalism. We don't live in a capitalistic society, people. And for all you out there that say we don't need socialism, y'all are lying to yourselves, because we live in a socialist country. Bottom line. And if you think not, then I encourage you to fucking argue that point with me. Because we do. You've got haves and you've got have-nots. And I tell you what, your taxes, that's socialism. Do you understand that? You paid your taxes, it's socialism. If you supported in whatever community you live in, if you supported some kind of a local tax hike of 1% or whatever to pay for a hospital or a library or a new school, that's socialism. That's society pitching in for that. That's socialism. Now, that word has a negative connotation. It's dysphomistic in nature, just like a number of things are. Just like saying I'm an anarchist is. I say I'm an anarchist and immediately people fucking just think that I'm for lawlessness and just utter abandon. No, I'm not. Anarchy is about doing no harm. It's about respecting another person, respecting their person and their privacy and their property. And I don't think that people should own fucking huge chunks of fucking land either. People should be able to use the land, you know? I mean, the idea to say, this is mine, when you're here for 70 to 80 years, maybe. And to have the audacity to say that this piece of the earth that's been here for however long and is going to be here for however long, this is mine. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, how come? So you know, I mean, whatever. You came from a background where, you know, so you inherited the land, and you got people sitting in there crammed in Skid Row, living in tents, shitting on the street. And you're out here and you got, you know, 3,000-4,000 acres and probably doing nothing with it. I mean, it's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting. I mean, it's going to be, if people ever wake up and understand that, I mean, just in this country alone, we got 335 million people. What percentage of those people are calling the shots, running the show? Not a very high percentage. 1%, maybe, right? And yet we sit here and we take it. We take this shit. We watch this shit on TV that they throw at us. You know, we sit here on our shekels and hoard them and try and get the best deals we can on what we need to live, try and keep food in the fridge, try and keep the bills paid, try and keep electricity on. I mean, it's going to hit the fan. And as soon as people fucking wake the fuck up and understand what's going on here. But the thing is that these people that are in charge, they know that by separating us, by keeping us all in our little fucking groups, I'm white. What do you mean I'm white? I'm fucking multicolored, motherfucker. I got fucking so much different. I mean, I change the color of my skin on a daily basis almost. We're all fucking human. That's what it comes down to. We're human beings. I mean, what's going to save us is going to be compassion and love and getting to know your neighbor and looking out for your neighbor and taking care of each other and realizing that we've been duped. I mean, but the sad part of it is too, is that it's 98% of the people out there are not going to realize this. They're just going to keep going through the motions. Keep going to college, getting put in debt, work a shitty cheese job your whole life, spend the majority of the good years of your life punching a clock for somebody, you know, check out from work, get your shitty little retirement, get your little Social Security check, and then you die. And you sit there and you grumble and mumble and talk about kids these days. And like I said, I mean, everybody wants to bitch and whine and complain about millennials and work ethic and this and that. And it's like, you know what? I mean, that's what that's what we're responsible for. The boomers, Gen Xers like me, we're responsible for it. And you know what? Why should a kid have, what's this? I mean, yeah, you should work, but you know what your work should be? It should be something that you love to do. Because everybody has a niche. Everybody has a trajectory, something that they love doing, you know? I've never been able to pursue that until recently with this podcast. I've spent my entire life doing stupid shit for a little bit of money. I was talking to my friend Brooke about this the other day. You know, we were talking about the dumb shit that we'd done over the years for a $15 an hour job. I was telling him about chaining together 2 40-foot ladders and climbing up the thing just to get the side of the building painted because the boss was screaming at you. And you would do shit like that. I did shit like that I don't know how many times because I had some boss calling me a pussy. And you're up there hanging off some shit way the fuck up in the air. You got no safety harness on, doing something completely fucking dangerous that could end your life in a second for $15 an hour. And you do it because that's what you got to do. And that's what men go through. And I'm telling you, there ain't a lot of women out there doing shit like that. I've been doing it my whole entire life. My adult life, anyhow. And I'm finally sick of it. I mean, I'm thankful that I was able to, put myself in a place to be able to start doing this. Now I'm not making shit off of it. I'm not making shit. I'm just doing it. I'm putting it out there. So I mean, if you guys hear this and you can subscribe and just give me a thumbs up, it means the world to me. You don't have to give it. I'm not asking for any fucking money. Nothing. And I don't want to be that guy even asking for this, but I've realized through doing this myself that anytime I get on somebody's site and watch a YouTube video, and typically what I do is I watch videos that are showing me how to do something. I always make sure and subscribe to their channel and give them a thumbs up because it means the world. I mean, it helps with the whole algorithm thing, and it helps people like me be able to keep doing this. If you gain value from anything that I'm saying, maybe you aren't. Maybe you just think I'm a jackwagon, and maybe I am. I've certainly had my share of misfires on this thing where I've screwed up and had bad audio or bad video, or I mean, it might even be that way right now. I don't know. But I'm just trying to put content out there, and I'm trying to, I mean, I'm not calling anybody an idiot or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that there comes a time when maybe, you've got to, take the glasses off, right? Like, like maybe you're walking around with 3D glasses on, and all of a sudden you pull those things off and you see what's really out there. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, people, like I said, people get on me about being too wound up in this stuff and getting too involved, but I am, because I see what's going on. And it's not that I'm trying to get rich or anything like that. I couldn't care less. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're all going to die. We've all got the same ticket to punch at the end of the whole fucking ride. I mean, when you go out, if you go out peacefully, here's what you have. You have the memories, right? You have the memories of the people that you loved and those that loved you. And think about these people that spent their entire life doing nothing but chasing this money. God damn, this stupid fucking thing just keeps fucking going off. I'm sorry about that. See? I don't know how to even turn it off. That's how dumb I am. I'm just a big idiot, especially when it comes to all this stuff. I mean, I don't know how I even figured out how to do this. I mean, I kind of have. I don't know. I'm just saying, there's a lot more to think about than this paradigm, mindset that we're in. Society is in this mindset of punch in, punch out, pay your bills. Maybe you get a couple shekels left that you can put in savings and you can take your family on some kind of vacation or whatever, but you can't even really go anywhere because of this bullshit that's going on. I mean, it's just nonsensical. And then you've got this upper crust, these people. I mean, Big Pharma is making $1,000 a second. Pfizer, Moderna, and BioNTech are making $1,000 a second on these vaccines. I'm not going to say one way or another because it's not my place to say. You make your own choice what you want to do. I mean, you get the shot, don't get the shot. I don't give a shit. I've chosen to do what I've chosen to do. And I'm still here and kicking. One way or another, I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, it's supposed to be about freedom, right? Personal freedom. Making your own choices. I mean, that's the thing in this country. I mean, you can choose to go over there to McDonald's and eat 15 Big Macs every day and eat, 17 large fries and drink, 2 liters of fucking Coke and swell up to 450 pounds and die at 41 years old. Hey, it's your choice. That's how it should be. It's not McDonald's fault, is it? And I know everybody wants to blame somebody else for their choices, I mean, you make your own decisions, you make your own choices, I mean, this thing's going to make me fucking nuts. It keeps going off. I tried to turn off all the notifications. If anybody knows how to do something like that, let me know. Because I would certainly like to have that bell quit coming on in the middle of things. But you make your own choices, man. You choose. I mean, we always have a choice. And right now is a time to maybe make a choice. I don't know, oh God, this shit. I wonder if it's coming through. I don't know if I turned my phone off. I turned everything off. It keeps coming through on this stupid iPad. I'll turn this. Then it's probably going to be coming through on the computer. It never fails. Get a ding, ding. Anyway, I've got to go serve the local government with some paperwork and then get some put in the mail to this attorney to let them know that, hey, I'm not a dummy and you might have messed with the wrong dude. Excuse me. Damn unicorn. Anyhow, I don't know what else I had to get into here. I was going to talk a little bit about some other things, but I think that we've gone far enough. But anyway, it's kind of weird that we got Whoopi Goldberg. She's suspended. And then we've got Zucker. He's gone, which is kind of crazy, you know. And don't think that Stelter's not the next one on the chopping block. I mean, anyway, I don't know. We need to come up with a system that gets rid of this lobby, all these lobbyists and these corporations that are just running the show. I mean, there's, and check out thevenusproject.com. I'll try and throw a link to it down there after I go off the air here. But it's definitely an ideal worth checking out. Is it attainable? Anything's attainable. I mean, this one's pretty idealistic. But, I mean, if you look at it, if you're to think about it, I mean, how many billions of dollars does somebody need? Did Musk earn his $300 billion? Did Bezos earn his whatever he's worth now, pushing $200 billion? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Now, what have these things done for us? What's Amazon done for you? I mean, yeah, we like the convenience. But then you got to think about what the people that are working in those fulfillment centers are going through to work those jobs to get that shit to you, right? Like, these are people that they don't even have time to go to the bathroom. They're peeing in bottles. They have wrist buzzers, right? So if they're running, I mean, literally sometimes they're running. And you watch these jobs. I mean, there's a dude on YouTube, I can't remember his name. You'd have to just search it up. But he kind of films what he goes through in a shift. And I mean, he's sitting there at a, you know, I mean, it's just box after box. He's just, I mean, we're not put here to live like that. And so people have to live like that so we can have our convenience. So they can make 15, 18 bucks an hour. And then they're working, you know, 6-7 days a week. Some of them working 12-hour days. That is not life. That's not what we're here to do. Not at all. I mean, like I said, everybody's got a niche. Everybody's got something that, I mean, like I have things that make sense to me that I enjoy the shit. I love building furniture. I like doing that. You know, I like working on things. I like playing music. And there's other people that, and I like writing. I mean, I got a whole list of things that I enjoy doing. I try to, keep everything as open as I can. I mean, I'm always open to, I try to learn new things every day. And there's people out there that, everybody's got something else that they're good at. I mean, if we're all able to actually pursue that, I mean, think about it. If you're able to pursue what it is that you really wanted to be or what you wanted to do in life, but you got, sideswiped by the monetary system and not having the money to be able to pursue that. I don't know how many people I know that, couldn't go back to school. What's school going to get you anyways? I mean, the real school is actually life. I mean, there's nothing that beats an apprenticeship as opposed to going and paying money to some state institution to go sit there and listen to some inundated teacher teach you a bunch of bullshit that you're just going to end up paying off. We send our kids out the door at 18, and by the time, if they graduate from college, they're $100,000, $200,000 in debt, and that's how they get to start their young life, and then they're supposed to get married and everything. And I mean, it's almost, yeah. And then you go and, you're 22, 23, you get engaged. And then next thing you know, you've got your fiance, she wants a $25,000 wedding, and you just got out of college and you're trying to pay off debts, and you're driving a shitty car. You're living in a fucking apartment that you can barely pay the rent on. And then, she's got to have a $25,000 wedding, for all her friends to show up and put on the right dresses and this and that. And you parade around and now you're in debt for that too. I mean, that's what it's got to offer you, and something needs to give. I mean, so if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But I don't see it. I don't. That's not how I see it. And I could be completely off my rocker. It's happened before. It'll happen again. I'm just saying. I mean, the complacency and the, just, I mean, sitting back and letting this shit happen. And the idea of voting for, it's always the lesser of two evils. Why is there never a choice of good? Like, why is there not a choice of, I want what's good? It's always, well, it's the lesser of two evils, I mean, yeah, this is, and why do we need somebody to fucking be in control of us anyways? Why do we need a president? Why do we need these people? It should be your civic duty, and it should be just on a kind of a lottery system. And there's no, it's not run for election. I mean, that's what's silly. I mean, to run for, to be a candidate, you have to have the money, first of all. So, I mean, anybody who's got great ideas or, a good, moral or ethical outlook on life and has ideas about how things can get better for all of us. If you don't have that money behind you, you can't go. It's just like people that can't go to college, people that can't pursue what they really would like to pursue because of the monetary limitations put on them. But yet you've got people like fucking Hunter Biden that spits through a straw and sells paintings for $500,000 a pop. And I'll leave you with that one. Check that shit out. I mean, here's a guy that's a guy he's lied about shit so he can buy firearms, which, anybody else is going to prison for that. I mean, his father, was the architect of the 1994 crime bill. His kid's a crack addict. Has he ever done any time? That kid ever do any time? No, everybody feels sorry for old Hunter. Fucking smoked crack till his teeth fell out. Anybody I've known that's been down that route and has bad teeth from doing that shit and tried to change their life, sobered up and got right, ain't nobody paying for their teeth. Yet he's got brand new crowns and all that shit, and he's got a nice pearly white smile. People I know that have actually been through it and gone down that route and had to go to NA and had to go to treatment and had to go through this and go to prison and come out the other side of it and gotten cleaned up with fucked up teeth, can't get a fucking job, working a shitty cheese job, right? Just trying to make ends meet because they can't get a better job because they got a record, because they had a chemical on them, they had a substance on them. And so we lock them up, throw them away. And you got this guy, the president's son, who's out there fucking spitting through a straw on a piece of paper and selling them for $500,000 a piece, making deals with Chinese and Iranian over in Ukraine, $85,000 a month from fucking Burisma. Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to ask me why I get so fired up about this shit. Well, this is why I get fired up about it. And you should too. God damn it. It's about time that somebody wakes the, it's about time we fucking started wake the fuck up. Because until we do, I mean, to me, it don't matter. I'm done. I'm halfway through my life, over halfway through. I'm almost 46. And, things I've put myself through, I'll be lucky to hit 70 years old. But I sure as fuck want a better place for, for the young people. I really do. And I think that it's possible. And I think we've got to look at that. I mean, I think we're here for a reason, and that's what it is to try and understand. I mean, we're put here to try and understand something. I firmly believe that. We're the only species on this planet that's uncomfortable. 5 degrees one way or another, and we're like completely uncomfortable. It's either too hot, too cold, too rainy, too dry, too humid, We are a species that can't go outside of our homes, and especially where I live. If you were to throw me out there butt-ass naked tonight, I'm dead. I'd be dead today because it's like fucking 6 below right now. I mean, I got to bundle up. I got to make sure my truck's plugged in to go anywhere. I mean, we are uncomfortable, and for some reason, we don't belong here. And for us to have this consciousness and then be here for such a short time, I think we're put here to learn a lesson. I don't know what that is. But there's definitely something bigger at play, I mean, there's definitely a bigger existential reason for us being in here than what I think we think or what we're led to believe. I mean, look at the things you thought when you were a child, right? You thought about I could fly, I could do, look at the games we played, the things we did, the fantastical worlds that we lived in, and then that shit gets stolen away from you when you hit a certain age, right? It's like, this is reality. Now you got to go do this. You got to work this shitty cheat, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious about how many people out there love what they do for a job. And how many people out there just go through the motions. And you think about that. Think about what that does psychologically to you when you work a job where you just have to fucking look busy. Where you're just sitting there all day and you got your screen in front of you and you're watching YouTube videos. You're watching me right now. And then all of a sudden the boss comes in and you got to put that shit down and all of a sudden act like you're doing something. You know what that does to you in your mind? It makes you worthless. Because you sit there and you go, what the fuck am I doing? I'm spending all day trying to look like I'm doing something when I'm not doing anything. I mean, that's my problem. I mean, gotta have a job. Where do we get that from? Gotta have a job, gotta do it. Why? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's really fucking pointless. I mean, it is. I mean, it's exercise in futility if ever there were one. You're taking your whole entire life and you're throwing it right down the fucking toilet so you can fucking look busy. Think about all the jobs out there where people watch an episode of The Office. I've been watching that shit and laughing my ass off because it's a hilarious show. But I think about, I was asking my buddy the other night, I said, could you imagine having one of those jobs? You're working in a building where you got to go every day, sit at a desk or a cubicle right next to somebody and you're selling fucking paper. And acting like that's the whole world. That's what's funny is that people work these jobs and they come home and you talk to them and I mean that job is the whole fucking world. I've been there, come home complaining about paint and it's like, who gives a shit? That's why I got sick and tired of it. Do I really want to sit here and paint white ceilings and gray walls for old ladies for the rest of my life? No, I don't. There's nothing rewarding in that other than the money, and that's it. Can I make good money doing it? Sure. Do I get anything personally out of it? Well, you got to just buck up and do it. That's what they say. Why? I'm not here for that long. Especially at this point in time, I'm not here for that much longer. Who knows? Any fucking day could be our last day. And why spend it doing something that makes you absolutely fucking miserable, has no substance, and doesn't give you any kind of pleasure? I mean, there's no reason to it. I don't know. I hopefully this hits a couple people's ears and maybe you'll think about it. Reach out to me if you can. I'll try and check my messages better. I keep trying to, but they get deeper and deeper. And I just keep trying to put out content. That's what they say to do. And I enjoy doing that more so than anything else, really. I do enjoy doing this and I like it, and that's why I'm pursuing it. And hopefully something good comes out of it. If one person gets reached or whatever, and I'm not saying I'm absolutely right on everything. I'm just a dude with the gift of gab running his neck and sitting here in front of this camera and yapping. But I mean, there's more to it than I think what we're giving ourselves credit for. And I think that most of us allow ourselves to get stomped on through life, and we allow the system to kind of take us and throw us down whatever weird route they want to put us in. I mean, it's not about money with the oligarchs. It's about power, and it's about power over you and me. And I mean, look at all the censorship going on there. I mean, this is the worst thing ever to be talking about, freedom and being able to speak your mind and say your piece and do what you want to do. But I think anybody out there that's listening to this, you've got something that you'd probably rather be doing. And if you don't, if you're in that place where you're just fucking happy as fucking hell with your job and what you got going on, then hey man, awesome, more power to you. I got nothing bad to say about that. I mean, if you're out there killing it and doing what you want to do and life is good and it's happy and, Hey, awesome. You know, I'm not a hater. I got nothing but love for you if that's the case, man. If you figured that shit out, right on. You know. But for those of us out there that are, the people out there that are, struggling day to day, think about how many years get taken off your life just because you're stressing about money. Think about what stress would be gone. Everybody out there that's listening to this, tell me that money is not a stress. Sure, there's some that it's not. But then what is it that you have to do on the other side of the fence to get that paper? You got to think about that too. You selling yourself out? Are you, not spending enough time with your family, with your wife, with your husband, with whoever in your life? Are you cutting people short? Are you not going on those trips because you got to work? Are you spending nights staying up worrying about work? Are you bringing it home with you? Are you taking it out on your family? Those are things to be looked at too. The money's only going to make you, so happy. I know a lot of people with the money I wish that I always thought I wanted. And I look at their lives and I see how miserable they are and the divorces they've gone through. And it ain't going to make you happy. It might for a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's not gonna save your soul. It's not gonna, it's not gonna mean a goddamn thing. Because we're all gonna die. And at that point in time, who gives a shit? What's it fucking matter? You're checked out. You're checked out. You ain't taking it with you. You leave it for your kids. So you have a bunch of spoiled brats. They got a bunch of money, and then they can. What are they gonna do? They're gonna go blow it. For what? They're gonna be bad people because you were never home. Never spent any time with them. Never took them on those snowboard trips. Never took them out anywhere. Never taught them how to fish. Never, I was had to work, get that paper. Think about it, people. We got a mess here that we got to deal with in this country, and it's not getting any better. It's only getting worse. And we're at a point in time where there needs to be a paradigm thought shift. Seriously. And if you listened all the way through, let me know what you think about that. Let me know if I'm fucking off my rocker, or if you think that that maybe it's time that we maybe pursued a couple different routes here, because this obviously isn't working. So anyway, know that I love y'all. I hope y'all are well. I wish nothing but the best for everybody. And we'll hit you up soon, all right? So be kind, do no harm, and take care of each other, all right? I'm going to take us out with, I got my new Brandon Hart tank top on the other day. So Brandon Hart, this is out to you. And I'm going to take us out with a little tune from him, and we'll call this one good because I've rambled on for an hour and a half now, and you're probably sick of hearing me. So peace out.
I've been up all night trying to figure this out. I drank a half a bottle of whiskey, sat down on my couch. Couldn't believe what they were talking about when someone said they found you dead at your house. And how could this be true? I still needed you. I can't believe that I'll never see you. It must have been so bad I can't begin to even try to explain what you've been through. There's no way out, only a way through. You should have stayed here, I could have saved you. Well, I've been up all night trying to figure this out. I wrote a million different words to let you know how I felt. Nothing really sounds special enough, and they don't have the words to tell how it was when you should have stayed here. I could have saved you. There's no mistake that we couldn't work through. Nobody hates you. They want you safe, dude. You left me all on my own. I can't replace you. There's no way out, only a way through. You should have stayed here. I could have are. I miss you. I will always love you. You will always hold a space in my heart.